Please don't push me, but y'all push B. Now we got dwellers from Cali to Flatbush B. Now they got heat on they feet that say press B. And now we so deep in the streets, y'all can't stress me. Can't curse me, then bless me. I'm crucifying my flesh, that's less me. SAT'd from preaching, can't test me. Atheists are now believing, that bless me. Yeah, we got the basement replacing any of those worldly pursuits that y'all chasing. Any of those trials and tests that y'all facing. Any of the relationships that y'all changing. We rearranging, making the shame shift. Giving Satan back what's his, that's the blame shift. Rise up and walk commands, that's the lame shift. Cheat codes for living this life, that's the game shift. All on Yeshua, man, the rest is manure, man. I'm dying daily, so I rise up a purer man. Pressing B daily, so my sins looking fewer, man. Washing the blood, so my sins down the sewer, man. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, y'all, I know you're trying to find some green flags in your relationships, but if you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify the green flags. Actively practice them in your relationships and embody the green flag energy yourself. As you all know, I am a huge proponent of therapy. And when you have somebody that you can talk to that can help you identify what those green flags are, what those yellow flags are, what those red flags are, man, friendships become much easier to connect with. So we want you and encourage you to get that better help. Access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. So discover your new friendships that will give you those green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/bside today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/bside. Welcome to the basement, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Tim Ross. I want to give a shout out to all of my dwellers all over the world. Thank you so much for being a part of this movement. It is because of you that we are here, and I don't take y'all for granted. Listen, I have a man here who I'm so excited just decided to stop by to just bless us with his presence. He wrote a new book. I'm sure we'll get into the book and the context of why he wrote it and the whole nine. If you don't know who he is, I'm pretty sure you have heard his voice. It's a very unique voice. It is not a voice that you can get confused with like 5 other people. There is an anointing on this man as it relates to worship, as it relates to music, and I'm grateful for his space in the earth in this season. I was talking to him right before we got on this pod about how necessary I feel like he is. That is not to say that other people are not necessary. There's just some people that you just resonate with and it clicks. So we're going to get into a conversation with a worshiper, a musician, a pastor. If you don't think you're a pastor, you are a pastor, and an author. Jonathan McReynolds is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go! Yes.
What's up, man?
What's going on, man?
Oh, nothing. Just hanging out. You know.
Hey,
just here. Came through the wrong door. Just here.
Oh, let me tell you what was so funny about your entrance. In the 2.5 years I've been doing this, it's the best entrance any guest has ever had walking into my house since I've been doing this, hands down.
I'm honored, man.
There is no close second.
Okay. Tell me why, though.
Let me tell you why, bro. We've never met, right? I've heard of you, never met you. Me, Juliana, Derek, Hector, Rachel are just sitting down eating, waiting for you to arrive.
Yeah.
And we wait for people to either knock on that front door, ring that doorbell, and if some of them are bold enough, they'll just turn the knob and come on in. But you came through the side door. My son let you in.
Like, if I came through the front door, would there have been like a party or a celebration? Like, what did I miss?
Yeah, like I don't. Like there wasn't gonna be roses. Like
okay.
it wasn't gonna be coming to America.
Set up. I didn't know. Like it was gonna
there was
like
a song that was supposed to happen. He's your guest to be.
Right. I just didn't know.
Right.
Okay. All right.
But it would have been
triumphant.
It would have been way better than you coming in the side door. Yeah. Like you just the homie that I went to school with from 11th grade. Bruh from the 5th floor. From the 5th floor, right? Came through the kitchen, came around the corner and was like, oh, hey. I look up. It's Jonathan. Just stand there. Y'all good?
What's up?
Hey, bro. What you doing here, Jonathan? Oh, nothing. Just making me a sandwich.
That's about right.
That's about right, bro.
I mean, hey.
And the
Midwest.
vibe is like you are very laid back. It might be because you've been traveling, or this might be your demeanor. I don't know, but it's just it was so casual. It was so unbothered. You're by yourself. That's how I roll as well. Most people don't, though, right? Most people have an assistant.
Most people
with
can't
them.
fight. I'm sorry. I'm already getting in trouble. I'm a little sleepy today. That's all. 2 hours of sleep, Tim. You're going to get a lot out of me today.
Hey, bro. You already my bro for life. Because it's the facts of that statement. You're absolutely right.
You need a couple people.
I've never even considered that context. Most people can't fight. You would need to roll 2 or 3 deep if you can't fight.
Exactly.
And if you local, if you don't got that thing on you, what is your problem? Like, I live in Texas. It's so
everybody got one.
Everybody got one. It's duck goose out here. You playing Russian roulette. You robbing somebody. It's robbers roulette out here. You don't know who got. Granny's got it.
Dang.
Granny's got them things on them. So at Kroger.
Just getting eggs.
Just getting eggs and shells.
And eggs and ammo.
Eggs and ammo. They both have shells.
It's in the same.
It's in the same family.
Aisle.
Exactly. At Walmart for sure. Okay, man. I'm so grateful you came. Thank you so much for stopping by. Who are you? Where are you from? How are you?
Well, I'm a child of God.
Yes, sir.
From Chicago.
From Chicago.
From the South Side,
South
over east.
Side. Let's go. Okay.
I'm a consummate nerd who is cosplaying as a gospel artist these days.
Dude,
I'm just a nerd, man.
Please elaborate on this. This is good for my soul to hear.
Nah, man,
nerds rule the world. That's my statement. We do. We rule the world.
Do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I very precocious kid. So much of the angst and my need to succeed now stems really from that performance-oriented, grade point average, test score percentile upbringing that I had. And actually me kind of looking for those objective guideposts, even in a very subjective world like music.
Yeah.
I am a musician. I've been playing the drums at church since I was about 5.
Wow.
Started playing the organ at about 7 or 8.
Wow.
Never wanted to sing, though. Never played the guitar. So a lot of what people know me as right now, my upbringing, my mother, anybody growing up with me, they're pretty surprised that this has been the claim to fame.
Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. This was not my dream.
Yep.
But God saw fit to put me here, man.
I grew up in a very musical family.
Mhm.
I didn't get the musical part of it. I got the singing, show choir, rapping. I started rapping when I was 9, battle rapping at 13. I got that side of it. I can put words to the music I hear.
Nice.
I can't sit down and play it.
Mm-hmm.
You start off on drums. My daddy was a drummer. You get to the organ.
Mm-hmm.
Usually people that get on the organ or the piano, even if they can't sing, they are humming in the keys.
Mm-hmm.
When did you find your voice? Or like, when did you know that singing was like a...
That's a really good question. You know, people ask me that, and I'm like, you know, when I tell them, I was like, you know, when I was playing and singing in the living room at all hours of the night, just whatever Brian McKnight or Backstreet Boy or Boyz II Men song.
Yeah.
It's not like my mother ever really came out of the room was like, you are really a great singer. You need to start doing that.
Right.
It was really just something that, you know, honestly, I say this and it sounds like a joke, but it's reality.
Yeah.
Girls liked it growing up. And, you know, people respect it and you know, the guys are like, come on, man, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So I think
yeah.
that's what, you know, initially what gave me some kind of confidence around it or some kind of space for it. Because I hated singing.
Yeah.
Like, I hated being in front. That's not my personality, you know, except for when I'm on stage. Every other bit of my life does not need to be on stage.
This is my spirit. This is my spirit person right here.
Yeah, man. So I, you know, it's very odd that you know, God would have this for me.
Yep.
And there's many times in my career now that I just stand on the stage or I stand in the staff meeting and I'm like, how did this become my life?
Yeah.
How are these people lined up to hear me?
Yeah.
How are all of you guys working on my behalf? It is so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's a song. You know Michael Bublé?
Yes, of course.
You don't know nothing about no Michael
I
Bublé.
do know Bublé.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
He has a song called Home.
Mm.
And one of the lyrics in there is, I feel like I'm living someone else's life. Like I just stepped outside when everything was going right.
Wow.
And I, you know, the whole song, I just want to go home. That it makes me kind of cry when I'm on the road for too long.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how this whole thing feels. It's like whose dream was this?
Yeah. Who
moved out of position and God moved me into that position because this did not feel like you know, you can always look back and see the steps that got you to where you are. But honestly, I don't know when this trajectory began. I don't know when the ladder began that Jonathan, from this little weird nerd kid, you're going to become a weird gospel artist. I don't have a clue. It was just like at some point I could just write.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. It sounds like I have a fellow introvert on the couch. And then the second thing that I see vividly as an image is, based on what you just said, you didn't get called off the bench. You got called out of the stands.
That's a good way of saying it. Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. I was, you know, there's this idea that when you're a singer, you grew up with a hairbrush in your hand, singing along and dancing in the mirror.
Yeah.
That was not me at all.
Yeah.
My mother asked me to sing anything in church, I would have a fit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm good.
Right.
I do not want to do that.
Yeah.
So the idea that, you know, I was sitting making business cards for myself. I had what I call Jonathan McReynolds Publishing Company. It wasn't an actual publishing company. I just used Microsoft Publisher to make people flyers and business cards and banners.
Yes,
that
sir.
was my business at 9 years old.
Yeah.
And I was making money.
Yeah, for sure.
Making websites and all that other stuff. That's what I was doing. Music was kind of like it was a sideshow.
Yeah.
It was never. I never thought it was going to be the primary thing that people knew me for.
For sure.
And so what it does, it feels like, something that was secondary all of a sudden became a duh. It's almost like if you had like a girl who was kind of just your friend the whole time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you look up and
it's
like, dang, you fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm gonna just go.
Yeah.
Go put a ring on that.
Yeah, exactly. I've known you since 8th grade.
Right. And that's how were you? How did I never see you before?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you were always there.
Right.
And I invested what I invested into it.
Yep.
And I practiced and I rehearsed and I did whatever and I was very comfortable with its secondary position in my life. But then all of a sudden, music just became real fine.
Wow.
And it made complete sense for me to pursue it. And here I am, man.
Wow. That's like a beautiful way to, I've never heard it put in that language before. That resonates with me deeply. That's how I feel about communication. That's how I feel about talking. That's how I feel about connecting with people.
So who was the girl that you were actually chasing while you had this fine friend that you hadn't noticed yet?
Hip hop.
That's interesting.
I refer to it affectionately now as my first cousin. But if I'm being honest and using this analogy, she's my play cousin who I actually wanted to get with and wanted to marry. But then once I realized like God had other plans, I was like, you've been my cousin this whole time.
Oh, gotcha.
But in the back of my mind, it's like, I'd have married you.
Man, I wasn't tripping off that.
No, I wouldn't like. I was never serious.
Right.
No, I wanted to marry her.
That's fair.
And my cousin Lecrae got to marry her, and that's his life. Like, you know what I mean? But for me, it was just.
I got a question. Do me and Lecrae look that much alike? People really be tripping.
Y'all have the same. Well, when we were downstairs in front of, just at the table, I was looking at you and was like, "You look like kinfolk."
Dang. Okay.
Like you literally look
when
like.
When I first started, I was getting all the comparisons.
Bro, you look like a Bryant.
Okay.
Like Lecrae comes from the Bryant side of our family. I come from obviously the Ross side of our family. You look like a Bryant. I was like the whole time we were downstairs, I'm like, what is the family tree? Because you got, I mean, your height, your features look like the Bryant side of my family.
That's fair. That's fair.
So coming from a blood cousin of Cray,
got you.
You definitely look like you kinfolk.
Well, the McReynolds are much better basketball players than the Bryants. Just want to say that to Lecrae.
Clearly.
Wherever you at.
Okay.
Wherever
Shots
you
are fired.
I don't care that you 6'6" or however tall you are.
I don't care either.
Right.
At 5'9".
Right.
I don't care. And that he got to marry the girl of my dreams.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're not jealous or
I'm
bitter?
not jealous. I'm just, I celebrate him.
Okay.
I have all of his albums and I play them and I listen to them.
Passively.
Yeah.
He plays them and listens passively.
I listen to them kiss each other for 12 tracks, But no, that's a beautiful way to say it, man. But that's what I wanted to ask you as well. Who was number one before you noticed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was the spelling bees, the math bees, the
Got you.
Straight up nerd.
The academia.
I'm seriously I just took the test about 4 or 5 years ago to get into Mensa. That was actually my first. When I was a kid, I remember my family saying, "Man, he probably should be in Mensa," something like that. Like that was me, man. I carried briefcases for no reason.
What was in it?
Nothing. Probably a calculator.
Right. Big old briefcase.
Couple pens.
Yeah, for sure.
A notebook.
Yeah. It was filled with potential.
It was filled with potential.
That's what it was in
it was filled with my childhood that I obviously did not want to live out. I just wrapped it up and said,
buttoned it down into the briefcase,
hey man,
and walked away with it.
This is who I am.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. I grew up really fast.
Yep.
It's the quintessential man of the house, single mom thing in the hood.
Yep.
And I think that that situation sometimes it makes kids be more foolish,
For sure.
and sometimes it makes the other ones grow up even faster
And be more serious.
Be more serious.
Yeah, you're dialed in faster.
Right. And
Yeah.
you got to take care. You don't even know what you're taking care of.
Right.
But you always got your cape on.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, my mama is definitely older, stronger, smarter,
Yeah.
knows what's happening, but I thought I was saving the day half of these times.
Right.
And
Right.
And yeah, man, that's just how that's how my childhood went.
Interesting.
Music was definitely just in the background.
Got you. You reach this point where you realize this is who I go with now.
Mhm.
Like, we are seriously dating. And then the public starts to like, oh, y'all look good together. Like, y'all so cute.
Mhm.
See your pictures. And as a fellow introvert,
Mhm.
what was it like to lose your anonymity? What was it like to lose your privacy?
Yeah, man, like if we're going to keep, thinking about this as a woman, this particularly this Christian music life, because that's different.
Yeah, it is.
That adds an extra something on it.
It does.
It's not just anonymity. Now, you're not getting humanity. You're not treated humanely, but then you have to respond to it divinely. And that
all right,
is tough.
please take us. You got to take us slower.
Okay.
You got to take us slower.
Boko.
Because what I heard you say,
Mhm.
it didn't come out your mouth, but what I heard you say is that Christians can dehumanize
Oh, yeah. Well,
the people that they...
culture dehumanizes. I mean, if you look on Twitter, they are taking shots at KD, Steph, LeBron
Yeah.
as we speak.
Yeah, for sure.
Politicians.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
even politicians themselves
Yeah.
are dehumanizing other politicians. It's
That's
crazy.
exactly right. It's exactly right.
And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the end of the day, the church has not done a good job of fighting back that cultural tendency to dehumanize its
Yes.
leaders and known people.
It's good.
As a matter of fact, church doubles down on it by adding even another layer of suspicion, another level of doubt, another level of we'll see, another level of skepticism. And then this is what I've always felt. As a leader, and you tell me if you feel this way.
Okay.
You have two options. You're either a superhero or a fraud. And every moment somebody comes into contact with you, they're not looking to see a human in the middle. They're looking to verify if you are indeed the superhero that is worthy of our streams, worthy of our YouTube subscription, worthy of our love, or are you a fraud that never should have been there in the first place?
Wow.
And the problem is you can be a fraud just by being tired that day. You can be a fraud just by being an introvert that day.
Right.
You can be a fraud just by having a mental error.
Yeah, absolutely.
An intellectual error.
Yeah.
And so kind of living on that tightrope, you got to understand, remember, I'm coming from nerd life.
Yeah, for sure.
So being, objective, being very like, all right, so what's the A?
Right.
Okay, 93, 200. All right, that's
Right.
what I got to get.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Having that mindset and then understanding that all these pressures, this particular rubric, I guess, gets you the A. Man, I put myself on a tightrope very early in this life, very early in this thing. And I found myself at 21 years old, coming out of college, learning how to be a Christian, learning how to be a musician, learning how to be an adult, but then also having to be a model for all of those things for everybody else. And that was completely too much of an ask.
Yes.
And I am, even to this day, still working to unravel those things and heal each one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, this feels like a pretty organic segue into this book that you wrote.
Yeah.
And this is the first book that you've written?
No, it's the second.
The second book. What was the first one?
First one was called Make Room. It was kind of a companion to my album, Make Room, back in 2019.
Okay. This book is a departure from that.
Mm-hmm.
In that you take us places that most artists wouldn't seem to delve outside of music.
Mm-hmm.
What most artists would write and just make it a song.
Right.
You took pen to paper.
4 minutes.
Right? Instead of 4 minutes, you gave us like 200 pages to reflect around what it's like to go into the valley. And so before you climb any higher,
yeah,
which to me is a magnificent caution sign.
Yeah.
Right? Hitting a trail, endeavoring to go up a mountain.
Yeah.
Before you climb any higher, give me the context of where that came from and why you felt so motivated to write the book.
Sure. Like, so understand that for a while I was living in LA. LA to me has very clear elevation, both in topography, but also in social class and how it works.
I'm from there, born and raised.
Yeah. So, and you know, I'm from Chicago. We didn't have any kind of mountains or nothing.
Nothing.
We
It's
had
flat.
garbage mountains. And literally
Mounds. You just had mounds.
Yeah, we had mounds. And so when I get out there and you're noticing that people are paying a lot of money to live on top of a mountain that is rugged, kind of unsafe, can't even really have a yard. And as somebody who likes to play basketball, I'm like, where do you put a basketball? Right. And if you miss, does it roll all the way down this mountain? Like, to me, that's not comfortable, but everybody is working really hard to ascend this mountain. And of course, you have the valley that maybe people are trying to avoid. Yep. So when I look at actual mountains, and I know that mountains and valleys, they have a certain meaning and connotation when it comes to our poetry and how we think of things. And mountains are high moments and valleys are terrible low moments. Nobody wants to be in the valley. Yep. That's just 5 feet above hell. If you dig too deep of a hole, you'll hit Satan in the head with a shovel. Right. That's what a valley is to people. Yep. But when you actually look at the Rockies or anything else, you see the mountains, they might have a little green at the bottom, but as you go up, it's just snow and rock. Yeah. And there's no life. No. It's cold. Yep. The air is thin.
That's right.
Nobody's up there.
That's right.
Then you go down to the valley and it's actually green.
Yes.
And there's a river.
Yes.
And there's lushness and nutrition.
Yes.
And so this thing that we have definitely been taught to avoid, that's actually where life is. That's actually where there's some level of presence and nutrition. Yeah. The ingredients to live. Yep. Civilizations, they were started in valleys. Yes. They didn't start them on a mountain. No. They couldn't do nothing up there.
No, it was unsustainable.
But because we are so hyped up on getting upwards, because this is how we point to God. God is up. God is up. So let's build a tower. Let's climb. Let's self-actualize ourselves all the way to heaven, which is up. And constantly climb for more titles, more achievement, more clout, more wealth, more everything. And we start to actually miss out on the life below. Yep. And so it's actually, the valley is not this terrible place. It's not synonymous for me in this book. It's not synonymous with bad times, sad times. Yep. No, my bad times were on the mountain. The tough stuff was while I was climbing. I almost died from high altitudes. We talk about valleys and mountains, and the most dangerous valley is nowhere close to as dangerous as the most mediocre mountain. Way more people have died on Mount Everest than Death Valley. So why don't we call Mount Everest Death Everest? Mount Death. You know what I'm saying? And valley's just valley. Death Valley's just a hot valley.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Bring enough water, you be all right.
That's exactly right.
But the problem is we have kind of a upside down. And again, I understand the poetry of it. It's all throughout the Bible.
Yeah.
Valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
Valley of Baca. I mean, there's a whole bunch of reasons why valley seems like a low place, but I'm just trying to help people maybe think about the idea that whenever people try to climb up to God, they got too high.
It's facts.
And actually, the people that went low, the people that knew they were lost, the people that knew they were brokenhearted, the people that knew that they were lowly and meek and impoverished, those people had a very straight path to God. The rich ones on the mountain were the ones that it's so hard for them to get into the kingdom.
It's facts, bro.
And so I'm just trying to show people kind of this gradation of life, that actually the higher you go in your pursuit of success, the less life you have. And it's actually a beautiful, warm lushness that happens in the valley of just being a son or daughter of God, titleless. That could have also been the name of the book, Titleless, but we went with this one.
All right, man. Are you opposed to telling me how old you are?
35.
35, okay. How and when? How did this hit you, and when did this hit you?
It hit me when I was climbing.
When I was climbing Mount Everest.
When I was climbing, actually, as an artist, and because you're an artist, you're a storyteller, you're a preacher, there is a lot of inspiration that goes into what we eventually release.
Absolutely correct.
Now, everybody in interviews wants us to pick one moment that set it all off.
Right.
And so we can pick a good moment if y'all like.
Right.
But to be honest, there's a lot of things that kick into it. There's a lot of things that you start seeing, and your whole season starts to add up to this idea.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's an element of, why am I seeing so many great people still fall? I know they're great. I know that they're amazing. I was just talking to your wife downstairs, and she was like, yeah, there's sometimes I don't want to meet, some of my heroes, because you meet them and you see like the difference in what they preach versus how they live.
Yeah.
And for me, of course, I mean, I've always been very honest. I don't write cycles or limp or any song that's about deliverance without some premarital sex.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So I got it. I've sinned profusely in this time. I'm technically disqualified from being any kind of gospel artist.
Yeah.
But I will say that a lot of it is not even a character issue as much as it is an exhaustion issue. And so I remember going to watch Hamilton. Have you ever seen the Hamilton musical?
Yes.
All right, so they have this this line that I know I'm the only person in the whole theater that even cared. Okay, he's being tempted. He's whatever with the Maria lady, and they, before he does anything, they harp on how tired he is. They harp on how, man, you've never seen a bastard orphan more in need of a break.
Wow.
He's been writing, he's been working, wife is across the pond, whatever's happening. And this is the moment that he's tempted and he obviously falls. Now, is that completely about his straight up character? I don't know. But I do know that I felt him when they said he was tired.
Mm-hmm.
When you're tired, some of the devils that you've conquered before, they start to regain some life on you.
It's the truth.
And when you are burnt out and you are separated from the source of life, the source of identity, the source of your why.
Yeah.
When you're disconnected from that, a lot of stuff becomes a little more appealing.
Yes, sir. It's true.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, all right, man.
I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
No, you're not. That's number one. Number one is that you're not talking too much.
Somebody needs to press return, period.
This is
New
like
paragraph on me sometimes.
Like I'm nerding out, right? I'm nerding out. You talked about exhaustion. Like the reason may be exhaustion. The other reason is altitude.
Altitude. And you know what altitude brings? Isolation.
Disorientation.
Fear of falling. Lack of intimacy. So then what now do you do to either address those issues, numb yourself to those issues, find a cheap solution for those issues? A lot of times that's what's happening.
I'm thinking about, because the imagery is so rich, man. Like everything you're saying is so picturesque to me. I'm thinking about how limited the food sources get the higher you go up.
Have you read this book? Or are you just an artist like me? Because that's the truth.
Yeah.
A lot of what I talk about after I finally convince you and help you come down to the valley is now that you know what's up on that mountain, now that you know anxiety and depression exists up there, now that you know loneliness lives up there, now you know once you get up there, listen, you know how many prophetic words were said before I started climbing? And how few believable ones I get while I'm climbing? There's not a lot of food up there to eat. You might not even get to church as much as you used to.
Facts.
So you have to figure out how to eat when there's nothing up there to eat. So there's two things. Either you're too high and you need to come down, or next time you go up there, you need to pack better. And that's what this book is about.
Yo, I am. So you do know that this book is basically Welcome to the Basement in a parallel universe. Like I wrote a book, was it last year? My daddy died, so I don't know. It was last year? Okay. Yeah, it was last year because the book tour started 5 days after my dad died. The vision that he gave me about the basement, in that life was down here and the 100th floor of this building was where all the compromise was taking place. It's the mountain and the valley.
Mm-hmm. What is God trying to tell us, bro? De-romanticize the mountain.
Demystify the mountain.
Yeah, it don't be lying. We can look at it.
The mountain's telling you it's cold
snow.
up here.
Yes.
Ain't no life up here.
Matter of fact, it might snow up there and not even drizzle down
That's
here.
That's exactly right.
It's a whole different weather system up there.
It's a whole different atmospheric system. Ain't no restaurants up there.
Nope.
Ain't nobody crossing ain't no Starbucks is on every corner.
There ain't even bunnies to kill and eat. It's just you and snow. And check this out. On an extremely nerd level, the snow is mostly air.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct.
It's not actually a lot of water.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Mostly air. You actually sometimes lose more hydration trying to drink snow, trying to eat snow. Sorry, I just had to nerd out.
No, dude.
I wanted to be meteorologist growing up.
Now, okay.
I feel your judgment. I feel in the whole room.
Not in this room.
I feel so much.
It's got to be from the cameras.
Wow.
It's got to be prophetically through the camera because it ain't coming from
Y'all
me.
judging me? I feel it. I feel it.
All right. So here's a question I have to ask, and I was gonna try to wait, but it's like burning a hole through my brain. Did you get? You took the test for Mensa. Did you get in?
Yeah, man. I'm in there.
Okay, here's the reason why I had to ask. You sound like you got in. Doggone it. Jonathan McReynolds.
Thank
you
you, man.
sound like you got in Mensa.
Oh.
Just the level of
Overthinking?
no, it's not overthinking. It's a level of cerebral processing. There is a quieting of a soul that has to happen to think this clearly at 35 or 33 or whenever you started writing a book to whenever it's done. What has been most frustrating for you in seeing mountain climbers that should be in the valley? Because I'll be 50 this year. You're 35. You're looking at it through a different lens than even I.
Mm-hmm.
On this. God gave me the revelation of the basement when I was 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But that's 20 years ago now,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so for this to come, for God to give you essentially the same message with a different an analogy, because when he's trying to communicate to us, he'll just say the same thing 9 different ways, right? Like he ain't even got
Humble
a new message, right? Just humble yourself. He's saying the same thing 9 different ways. You can go read Isaiah, you can go read Jeremiah, and you can go read Ezekiel. They all saying the same thing, a different way, the same thing.
I call Isaiah, by the way.
Okay, you can have Isaiah. I'll call Jeremiah because he's crying, and I'm very sensitive. Nobody wants to be Ezekiel because then you got to explain the wheel in the middle of the wheel.
His dreams are wearing me out.
I'm not doing it. There's too many eyes. There's eyes on wheels. I'm cool. I'm not even trying to talk about that. For your peers, for the generation that you're a part of, what is the most frustrating thing when, like, you got this revelation, but you see them going up a mountain, they don't even have a backpack on?
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah,
that's scary. And the thing is, I believe that God does all things well, and so I don't know if I jump the gun on a lot of things. Because the truth is, God starts stuff.
He does.
He does start our climb sometimes. He does say, this is what I want you to do. He does open up the floodgates. He does get you the big break. It's the stuff that we add on top of it. The extra ambition, the extra ego, the extra childhood pressure, the extra, I just want to avoid mediocrity. I want to always be above reproach. Whatever that is that keeps chasing you and driving you up that mountain. I just see a lot of us, millennials are special people.
Yep.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
Like we have an extra oomph to our ambition. Like this, like Instagram is what Instagram is because of our need to polish stuff up. We're the ones, overusing these filters. They're not even for fun anymore. They're for complete identity change, identity mask. That's us. That's why Gen Z's like, yo, on TikTok, we just want to like show up any old kind of way because they watched us go crazy trying, 40 takes for one post. They watched us do that.
This is insightful.
Yeah, so that's how we climb. Like, we climb in a neurotic way. We climb and we get so consumed by it. We climb because, somebody told us that with all these degrees and with all these followers, we will have a life that is worth posting about. And we learn, I guess we start to become, I feel like we're the ones that invented multi-hyphenates. Like, we're the ones that, like, hey, we're the ones that invented Instagram bios.
Right.
That I'm this, I'm that.
I'm 18 things.
I'm a boss, I'm a king,
Right.
I'm a CEO, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a Virgo.
Right.
I'm a sapiosexual, I'm a blah, 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 blah. And we go through all of this stuff.
It's so true.
And here's what happens. I started looking in the Bible for a special verse, chapter, or book that would speak to just that sapiosexual. I looked for one that would speak to just the CEOs, just the people with 1 million followers or more, just the people that have this amount of money. And I couldn't find it.
You searched all over.
Couldn't find no scripture.
You searched high and low. Still couldn't find no scripture.
Couldn't. And so what I did find,
oh my gosh.
So I couldn't find any scriptures that spoke directly to who I was identifying as. So perhaps maybe what I'm identifying as, God didn't really make me to identify as that.
Ooh.
Like, even though I am the boss and I am the entrepreneur, maybe everything was not supposed to fly down that channel. Because what I found were a lot of scriptures for children of God.
Mm-hmm.
That's when everything opens up. Now you get peace and stuff.
Yes.
You get love. You get guidance.
Yeah.
All this stuff. You're an heir to something.
Yes.
That wasn't for the bosses and the CEOs. That was just for the kids. So if you identify as strictly the boss and the king and the CEO and the entrepreneur and the Virgo, whatever, you only even look for blessings in this little sphere over here. I remember when I was first starting out this climb, all of my prayers were about the climb. God, please help me to make the next level or have a good show or not mess this up or whatever. I wasn't even praying about all the other facets of life because I was starting to identify because of the pressure of everybody else saying, hey, Jonathan, you doing this, you doing that. You are such a minister, such a man of God. You're a pastor, really. You know what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff. And I'm like, I'm just trying to start being not a grandchild of God, an actual child of God. I'm trying to actually just have this thing for myself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My first lyrics to my first song was, Lord, I'm split in two. Part of me loves the world and the other loves you. I was being very honest with where I was at.
Yeah.
And I just needed to figure that out. But people are already holding me to a standard of bishop. So now I'm identifying or I'm trying to identify with 1 Timothy or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to identify as this particular thing. So all my prayers are completely wrapped up in how I perform as an artist, a leader, and I guess a bishop now. I guess.
Oh my gosh.
And I was not doing too well at a lot of those things, and other things I was okay with.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, if God is now over here loving, showing love, blessing, I'm not even looking over it. It's not even on my radar.
Yeah, it's true, man.
And so it makes sense that 3 years down the line, I felt way more used than loved. Because I wasn't even looking anywhere else but in the part of life he was using.
Well, you man, wow. Oh, man, that was hard for me to hear, only because I'm out of that matrix of affirmation and validation through what I do as opposed to who I am. And that is another way we are objectified. Is now Jonathan McReynolds is my jukebox. And
press play
my song. Right? And then it's like, oh, I love that song, but do the other one though. Do the other one though. Right? And it becomes, that's another level of objectification. And whatever you objectify, you consciously and or subconsciously dehumanize.
Absolutely. And nobody's trying to do it on purpose.
No one's trying to do it on purpose.
Nobody,
and yet.
Nobody's trying to do it on purpose. It happens, in the airport. It happens at Walgreens. It happens in the gas station.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to take my moment of bumminess away. Nobody wants to expose the fact that I hadn't brushed my teeth yet. I just woke up just to get some cereal. Nobody's trying to keep me from sleeping, but they will wake me up to get that picture. And it's again, like, for me, in the moment, sometimes it's hard for me to not see that as an attack.
Understood.
Now, you play it back and you're like, no, they were just excited. And then, when you're excited, you're not thinking about stupid stuff like humanity.
Right. It's true. It's very
or
true.
Or privacy.
It's true.
Or you just have, you know what I'm saying?
Or environment.
Or environment,
right.
or context.
Yeah,
you know how many pictures I've had to take with people after a funeral? At a funeral? Of my grandmother? Of my dad?
That's weird.
But that's what I'm saying.
So strange, yeah.
People. So when you're talking about objectifying, what you see is a statue that you need to take a picture with.
Yeah, you don't see a human.
And guess what, bro? This is what pisses me off the most. I go ahead and turn into a posable action figure for them. I stop advocating for myself. I don't, because I know that all of y'all are primed to say, man, I told you them church folks ain't.
He didn't even want to take a picture.
He's arrogant, standing, and I wish he humbled himself because all I did was ask for blah, 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 which is hilarious because you don't realize how entitled you are when thinking that. But still, there you go and think about it. Let's not go too far. But yeah, man, like, I have to deny my own humanity in those times, because I know if I come off how I really feel, tired, sleepy, dejected, disappointed from whatever I just left or whatever I'm about to go into, I know that people can't wait to turn me into what I said, a fraud. Because all you get is superhero or fraud. Are you going to be the superhero and when I press play, you sing it flawlessly? Or are you going to be a fraud and not sing for me?
Or sing it differently.
Sing it sadder or in the wrong key. And so all of that, and I ain't want to go on like a whole, like, it's not a woe is me type thing. No. But it is part of the minutia that turns you into a mountain climber and not a son of God. Because check this out. For all the fathers out there, kids don't be seeing you either. They don't be seeing all the mothers. They don't see how tired you are either.
It's the truth.
They don't see nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They just be asking.
Yeah, it's true.
They just be demanding.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true.
I'm sorry.
It's so true.
I'm about to try to make you cry right now. These kids, they just they don't see your heartbreak.
Right.
They don't see what just happened at work.
Right.
They don't know the cost of things.
Right.
Whether monetarily or just energetically, they don't have a clue.
It's so true.
And then they keep asking, mama, 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 daddy, daddy, daddy,
yeah,
daddy, daddy.
It's facts.
They don't have a clue.
They don't.
So if you only identify as a dad, then you will only be the type of being that takes care of stuff. And you'll never realize you're the type of being that also gets taken care of.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. It's the emphasis on being a kid is so liberating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through this with Nathan specifically right now. 9-year-old Nathan, 10-year-old Nathan, 11-year-old Nathan, 12-year-old Nathan, 13-year-old Nathan. He couldn't wait to be grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Could not wait. Just, I can't wait till I get my phone. I can't wait till I graduate. I can't wait till I get my driver's license. I can't wait. He graduated at 16.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's got to get a job. He about to get his driver's permit. Has no idea we about to retire Uber Eats because he becomes
Uber Eats. Dang.
Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub. He becomes everything.
Dang.
As soon as he gets that license.
To whom much is given.
Much is redrivered.
That's good.
He now he's like cautioning his younger brother, 27 months his younger, and he's like, you don't want to get here too fast. Keep playing your video games.
That's good.
Enjoy Fortnite.
That's really good.
I think it's very foreign for us, especially in the West, to not want to be grown.
Mm-hmm.
Not growing.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be grown past tense. We're done developing.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought of being a child to most of us is condescending, demeaning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm grown.
Right.
I can make my own decisions.
Yep.
And it's like, unless you come as a child,
mm-hmm.
is what he said.
What he said.
And when I was a lead pastor at Embassy City Church, pastored there 7 years, nobody ever called me Pastor Tim.
Mm-hmm.
I forbade it. Number one reason was I planted a church in the Bible Belt and I had to disrupt the religious thinking. So I just kind of stripped all of the things that they would usually say in a Bible Belt church and changed all the idioms and the colloquialisms. But everybody called me Tim. They didn't call me Pastor Tim. And when they would say, it feels weird for me not to call you pastor, it's a sign of respect, my response would always be, God has never called me pastor. In not one of my devotional times has he ever gotten my attention by saying, Pastor Ross, I want to talk to you about something.
Mm-hmm.
He's always called me Tim.
Mm.
Furthermore, pastor is an adjective and a verb. It's not a noun. It describes what I do.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't describe who I am. Paul said, I, Paul, an apostle.
Mm.
Paul is who I am. Apostle is what I do. I can describe to you my function in the fivefold, but let's not get it twisted. I am still Saul, who has a Roman citizenship, and so you might call me Paul if you catch me in the Roman territory. That's something I've never wanted to forget. I've never wanted to be objectified as a pastor to the point that the humanity of my Timothy is discarded and disregarded.
And that's honestly what getting to the valley is all about, is stripping off the titles, casting the crowns, and realizing that the entity that God wants to deal with is the kid.
Yes.
When, we know that when the disciples saw these kids running to Jesus, they're like, y'all, if y'all don't get these bad kids away from me, this is the high priest. This is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. You better, you lucky if I let any of y'all regular peasants talk to him.
Right.
Much
Adults.
less y'all kids.
Exactly.
Get these kids away. And Jesus like, no, actually, I wish some of y'all would act like them.
Facts.
But to this day, 2,000 years later, we are still shooing away the kid. We're still, get the kid away from Jesus. He don't want to see that. He don't want to deal with that. And God is saying, yo, actually,
wow,
I'm tired of you coming to church as the boss. I'm so tired of you being so high up on your mountain that I have to send something 10,000 feet in the air to get to you. I wish you'd actually come to me like these innocent green kids.
Yes.
With that type of trust, that type of openness. You don't even know where we going. Just, are we there yet?
Right.
But
we
no,
just in
man.
the back seat rolling.
We're just in the back seat. And I'm doing my best, man, and I've been doing this book tour, and there's this moment that I am allowing all the people that come, especially the fellas, to judge me. Because there's something I've been trying to do in my, I guess it's not really quiet time with God. I think sometimes quiet time is cool, but quiet ain't even that kiddie sometimes.
Yeah, it's
you know
straight true. Yeah.
Sometimes you really, like, quiet time still feels poised to me sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can do quiet time.
Yeah.
But I had to learn how to do, like, free time.
Yes.
Like, no poise time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like, no tact. Like,
Yeah.
God, whatever I'm talking about, whatever. And so,
how do parents parents are usually getting their kids' attention when they're activated and doing other stuff.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's how he works with me in the music.
Yeah.
Once I get stuff kicking,
Yes.
now he's pouring.
Yes.
But when I'm like, Lord, give me his own.
Yeah, nah, that ain't it.
Nothing happened.
He always got me running somewhere.
Right.
He'd be like, hey, boy, come here.
Driving.
It's
Right.
like that. Yeah.
And so what I've been doing, man, and don't judge me, bro, like, I'm not a dancer.
Okay.
And I'm definitely not a liturgical dancer. Okay. But when I do something stupid in the kitchen,
Yeah.
I feel dumb.
Yep.
I feel a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
I feel like a kid. Only a kid would do this and not care.
Yeah, for sure.
And the fact is, there are so few moments and aspects of my life that I can't care about how it looks.
Mm-hmm.
I can't care about the performance.
Yep.
So, like, I am literally trying to create more opportunities. And yeah, I ain't going to invite y'all in the room. I don't want nobody to see this.
Yeah. But between you and your dad.
Between me and Pops.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to act stupid. I turn on a song and I just twirl around like just stupid.
Yeah,
just
for
dumb.
sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know I'm stiff.
Yeah.
I know I'm not good at this.
Right.
I never ever wanted to dance or nothing, but it's the one thing. It's one of the that sounds braggadocious. Let me say it differently. It's one of the many things that I'm not good at.
Yeah, it's good.
And doing something that I'm not good at in the presence of God, it helps me get into kid mode.
Yeah, bro.
Instead of coming with like this, hey, Lord, I've created this dissertation for you to read. Yeah. Sometimes it's easy to just be like, hey, God, Daddy, I don't even know what's happening, but even speaking, praying in the spirit, like something about it sometimes just feels so. You're not an adult right now.
Right. Oh, for sure.
Let the spirit do the work.
Absolutely.
Just
because my brain is thinking about tomatoes.
I'm doing other stuff.
And avocados.
Absolutely.
And this beautiful language that has structure and syntax. And, you know what I'm saying?
And I check in.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, wow, I'm really repeating that phrase.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And so, but I think it's just I think that particularly us men, and I would dare say black men in particular,
Yeah.
we're so used to holding ourselves. Like just making sure that nobody ever thinks that we are anything less than a man.
Yeah, you ain't gonna catch me slipping.
You ain't about, no, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that is so antithetical with our actual identity with God.
It's very true.
And he's the one holding our future. He's the one holding things together. He's the one that has to finish this because he started it. And I'm just so trying to get myself deprogrammed or reprogrammed into just being more of a kid, man. And that's, again, the essence of this book is falling back down into the valley of sonship off your mountain of title learning.
I am so excited for this level of deprogramming to like hit the church and to hit believers of Jesus. 'Cause
church is about to go crazy.
Bro.
If this happens,
then we'll get children's ministry back.
Children's ministry needs to be it needs to be the main service.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You know, because I be thinking about, you know, like by some people, you know what shouting is, right?
Yes, of course.
I mean, can you can?
I can shout.
I know you know, reformed and
no, I can shout.
Non-denom.
I can shout.
I mean, I'm saying you want to show us.
You want me to get up?
No, has it ever happened?
I can pick him up and put him down.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I believe you. Since you said it like that, I believe you.
Are you kidding me?
Know what I'm saying? You just moving the feet. Hey, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shouting is a thing.
Right.
I learned it like a dance step.
Exactly. We've gotten so good at church, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it almost scares people who aren't good at church from getting into it.
That's right.
And I have learned that we've been taught that you get in the spirit and you dance.
Yes.
I feel like you dance to get in the spirit. I feel like you start moving, you give God something to work with. I feel like you give him your voice. He starts turning it into a heavenly language. He turns it into a song. You give him some movement and he makes that thing a praise unto him. You give him a little bit of tithes and he turns that into increase. Like it's not something hitting us and then
no, it's not. It's really not.
It's really not.
No,
stop
it's
lying to folks.
It's double Dutch.
And you jump in there.
And I'm like, I've seen enough people do this. I'm gonna get in. And even if I get roped, right? Even if I trip over it and they got to start all over again, I'm jumping up in that thing.
And it's not about skill.
It's not. It's not.
I mean, you understand that everybody got a camera.
Everybody.
It's gonna end up on. So
somebody gonna see something.
Somebody gonna see this bad step.
Yeah,
somebody gonna see that you are the only black person without rhythm.
Yeah, somebody gonna see it.
But I'm just trying to encourage people. I feel like, yes, if the church was full of kids of God, it looks different.
So there was a guy. My friend just preached for somebody, and he was told by the pastor, hey, he preached there, right? He preached at this church, great message. And he made this one statement. He was being very literal in the statement he made, but the church received it a different way. And their response was really positive to it. But after the service, the pastor was like, hey, man, I really don't want to go viral. Like, and it broke my heart when he told me the reason why. And like, the dude didn't say nothing salacious. He didn't say nothing disrespectful, none of that. I had so much empathy for this pastor, like based on what we're talking about, because his kid's been stomped out to the point that he overthinks everything he says on a Sunday because he's afraid of going viral negatively. So he can't even mess up. I'm learning Spanish right now. I can't tell you how many times I have said a bad word in Spanish trying to say the good word. And my teacher just burst out laughing. And I'm like, what? She was like, you can't ever say that you were one syllable from the word you're trying to say. And you just said sugar, honey, iced tea instead. Right? And we laugh about it. It's not like, Class dismissed.
Yeah.
I can't believe you just said, like, how many babies have we heard 3 years old let out an expletive and we're like, oh my God, boy, why you say that? Who taught you that word? There is grace for this. The child receives exponentially more grace than the adult does. But if we play the role of an adult when we're supposed to be the kid, we now hold ourselves to a standard that we know we can't. You said something earlier that was just profound, but I didn't want to detour your stream of consciousness. We have been complicit in some of the stuff that we don't like.
What do you mean?
When we take the picture anyway.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? When we don't be like, hey, yo. Because sometimes you don't want to be the teacher, right? You just want to be like, okay, that ain't even what it's about, but I don't feel like correcting you right now because I'm tired and I just did 2 hours or whatever the case is. I know I have been complicit because I was too tired to correct. And now I'm in a season of my life where it's like, my whole life is the tension of me being a child of God, and the camera is on a lot, and you just gonna hear a 50-year-old who's a child of God holding the tension of being human, and I'm not editing myself, and there is no filter. And on that day, I did say that word. I felt that at the time. It ain't my normal, but on today, that's what it was. And wherever you fit me on that, I'm either going to be a fraud or a superhero, or maybe we're trying to, even by this book, create a new category.
Human.
Ain't that a novel idea?
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Imagine not being a symbol. Imagine not being a corporate entity.
Imagine not being a brand.
Ooh. Well, that's Millennial 101. We've been branding since high school.
Imagine not being a brand. Imagine being a person who can do amazing things sometimes.
Yeah.
Right? And be totally stupid at other times. And at all times, a child of God. Wouldn't that just be?
Sounds fun.
That sounds exhilarating.
I need to use the bathroom.
Okay, go. So this is like one of my favorite things that happens. And I love the fact that it happens with artists. All the artists have to pee at some point.
They gotta let it out.
That's the same. This happened with Victory. When she came, she was like, I gotta go pee.
4-hour pod.
4-hour pod, bro, and we just knocked it down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hyped.
And you love being a child of God.
Please tell me that the bathroom has everything that it needs. Do we know this?
I will say this. It's been struggling on the toilet paper situation.
It was fine?
There was no toilet paper in there. There is a roll of kitchen paper towels. So
for the what?
Yeah. Oh, dude.
Huh? Were the wipes in there?
Swipes are in there.
The wipes were in it this morning?
Swipes.
Praise God.
90%
Okay.
sure you saw it.
Jesus, thank you, Lord.
I wiped with those paper towels. It was dangerous.
That's
No.
man.
And painful.
You're chafed.
Chafage.
Peligroso.
Yeah, you're completely chafed, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're dead serious? There was wipes in there?
Yellow baggy.
Listen. God bless you. At least you had what you needed. I just hope he comes back and he's still alive and had everything that he needed for the situation that was on hand.
Amen.
And if not, then it is what it is.
We will find out shortly.
Where can we find your toilet paper, Tim?
You gotta ask somebody else.
It's a big
I
Tim.
don't know.
Sorry, Julie.
I just live here.
We'll figure it out.
I just live here.
Amen. We can ask one of the
I'm trying to
housekeepers.
help people. Hey, this book, I'm so grateful that Jonathan wrote this book because like this is like the basement for another generation.
It's the basement.
It's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. Did you have everything you needed while you went through that experience?
What you mean?
Like was that like toilet tissue or paper towels?
Oh, yeah. All
Okay,
was
great.
good.
Okay, great. Because the boys, I just don't know.
I was like, what did I need?
Yeah.
All I needed was aim.
All I needed was aim. Is hilarious. Yo, that's so funny, man.
Oh man, what I miss?
No, the only thing I was just saying is I'm grateful. Like, first of all, I was just thanking God like that the same revelation he gave me is the same exact revelation he gave you, just with different words.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's constantly calling us down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just antithetical to Western civilization. It's antithetical to corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
It's antithetical to the charts
Yeah.
that we're climbing. It's antithetical to the corporate ladder we're climbing. It's antithetical to the titles we're chasing in church. It's like, man, just be a kid. Just be a child of God. What's the problem? Why is this so difficult?
A child of God that does great things.
That does great things.
From time to time.
Partnering with the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
His super on our natural, doing supernatural things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giddy, bro. Like, I just literally feel like, oh man, it ain't just me. Thank you, Lord. I appreciate it. Cause all the mountaintop, your best thing over there and ring the bell and God's about to do it and breakthrough and promotion. And I'm like, all my promotions came from the bottom.
Mm.
The quicker I got down, the quicker he got up.
Mm.
Here's the other, okay, thank you, Holy Spirit. He just brought this back to I had a thought while you were talking about the climb, right? I'm thinking about all the times the Holy Spirit has elevated us and we've confused it with climbing.
Mm.
I'm thinking about all the times the Holy Spirit has magnified us
Mm-hmm.
and we've confused it with climbing.
All the times where Nathan is 3 years old, 2 years old, and he wants to dunk. So you pick him up and he thinks that he's doing the dunking himself. But 98% of that was you lifting him up.
Bro, please come here once a quarter.
I get it.
I feel so seen and understood and validated. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm consciously aware of that.
Mm.
In anything that has ever gone good, that points people to Jesus, gives him glory, people feel inspired by, want to do better as a believer in Jesus. I'm like, somebody's hands were under my armpits.
Mm. Yeah.
I don't do enough calf raises to have this level of hops
Mm-hmm.
to dunk this. Somebody lit. This is
Okay. So in the metaphor,
mm-hmm.
metaphor number 578B,
exactly in this interview alone.
is Nathan, young Nathan, which does he enjoy more? Dunking the ball or being lifted up by his dad?
It's the latter. And the reason why I know it's the latter is because of the way he says, Daddy, do it again. It's the Daddy, do it again. The request is not even, I want to dunk again.
No.
Daddy, do it again.
Pick me up.
Woo. Yeesh.
Pick me up and give me a chance to do some of the stuff you be doing. Let me feel as tall as you for a second. And how do we reconcile that? How do we appreciate God picking us up, God lifting us up, and be good stewards of it without taking over and building our own ladder to get up there next time?
Yeah, that's really good.
It's better when God does the lifting.
Agreed.
And I'll say that I appreciated the lifting. But then, kind of in a Moses-y way, struck the rock again. And that's what happens, is that we get a certain formula for how this thing is going to go. Some heights that we now know we can attain. And we seek to manufacture that every time. God lifted me through this sermon, through this concert this time.
Wow.
I need to have that again.
Wow. Yep.
And that's what keeps us, again, it's not even just going higher on the mountain. It's staying on it longer than we're supposed to. The mountain is meant to be climbed. It's meant to be visited. We do work. We do have missions. We do have assignments. God did want you to start that ministry. He did want you to release that album. He did want you to start that podcast. But are you supposed to live there?
There is an ascent and a descent.
By the Bible, my book, which is
based on the Bible,
just a step lower. It's Bible, C.S. Lewis, and then me. My book says, when you can gracefully accept the descent, you'll gratefully accept the ascent. And
please say that again.
when you can learn to gracefully accept the descent, then you will gratefully accept the ascent. That check?
Passes the vibe check for me.
So
10
yeah,
out of
man.
10.
I you asked me, and everybody, asks, what do you want people to take away from it? The foundation of our lives cannot be 30,000 feet up.
Can't be.
The pivot point, the thing we pray about the most, the thing we identify as the most, cannot be up in the air.
Yeah.
It has to be on the ground. It has to be from a place, a title that you can't earn. And I believe by faith you won't lose either.
Amen. Absolutely.
And that's you as a child of God.
Can't lose that one.
Nope.
Everything else is temporary.
Best day, child of God.
Yes, sir.
Worst day,
Child of God.
but I failed. Child of God, I succeeded.
Child of God.
Man, but everybody's clapping. Child of God. Man, it was like crickets out there.
Child of God.
And when you can live from that unconditional, man, you know what? I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, especially like the, what do they call it? Like the man, what do they call it now? Manosphere, or just a lot of angry.
Yeah, the toxic masculinity,
Yeah.
the red pill community,
Red pill, yeah.
the Andrew Tate'ites.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna go all the way. I don't call out no names. I don't know who's behind any of this stuff. It just pops up sometimes.
Yeah.
But what I do hear from a lot of men right now is a anger and a frustration and a sense of neglect because we feel like most of the love that is pointed toward us is very conditional.
Yes.
It's very based on what we are able to produce.
Correct.
Girls will only like us if we have this amount of money, this height, produce this, create this, do this.
Yeah.
Well, here's some unconditional love for you. And yes, if you stay on that mountain of trying to be rich enough, cool enough, tall enough, blah, blah, blah enough for whatever, you will die up there.
You will. You will.
Even if you actually procure some of that stuff, even if you actually get the Lamborghini,
that's right.
You get the knee transplant, so now you're 6'1", whatever it is.
We talked about it.
You still are gonna die on that identity level.
Absolutely correct.
And you're still gonna have resentment to the woman that you finally do get.
That's right.
Because you know that she's not there.
That's right.
For the unearned.
Come on.
You.
Come on.
There is unconditional love for you.
Yeah.
And I think that we are so not interested in jumping off the mountain long enough to receive it. And we might see it in a more visceral way in that podcast community. But truth be told, the men of God are kind of in the same space too.
Yep.
And we are dying in pulpits because we feel like that's the only way we're worthy.
Wow. Facts.com.
Yeah.
An insatiable need to be needed and no identity outside of the title. One of the main reasons why, after I got over the initial shock of the Holy Spirit saying, hey, your season as a lead pastor is coming to an end, I had no problem transitioning. Once I realized, okay, Lord, did I offend you? Have I disqualified myself? Or is this genuinely like tap on the shoulder? Thank you. Let's go.
Dang. Sorry.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I just was thinking about when he elevates, we mistake it. You said we mistake it for climbs. Yeah. Then when he says, all right, now come down, we mistake it for failure.
That's right.
Every time.
Yeah. Like I wish I could have, he could have tapped me and he'd go, hey, we're done here. And I'm like, okay, Dad. Mm-hmm. It's like coming off the playground. It's like coming off the merry-go-round. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But instead, I thought I did something wrong.
Oh, no. It reminds me of, in Church of God in Christ, we'd have the convocations.
Did you grow up coaching?
Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah, all the great people.
Yeah, my grandfather, E.E. Ross, Enoch Elijah Ross.
E.E. Just the fact that he went as E.E.
Okay.
That screams Kojic.
And he was junior.
Okay.
Bishop Mason laid hands on him.
Wow. Oh, man.
That's how in we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, nerds rule the world, and then Church of God in Christ rule the world as well.
That's right.
Rule the church.
Yeah, rule the church.
Yeah, man. So I be playing the organ.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I'm 13 at this point, 14. I'm playing for the youth choir, and blah, 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 blah. And yeah, at some point, Ed Showers, who was the man, would tap me on my shoulder. And that means it's time for me to get off the organ and for him to get on it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So and in that moment, I'm not thinking about the fact that me, 13 years old,
even got to play
in front of all these people.
That's right. That part.
Thousands of people just churching, and I'm just up there. Sometimes a bishop would look up and nod at me, and I'd be like, I made it.
You heard that lick?
Yeah. But now I'm being tapped off.
Yeah. And got the nerve to be offended.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, when you start operating as just this person who's doing and is just working and just blah blah blah, your whole sense of what puts you up there is off.
Yeah.
So that means your whole sense of any reason to come down is off.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I'm saying, hey man, humble yourself, let's just kind of make a sacrifice of pause.
Yeah.
And let's not do this let's not grind ourselves to the bone real quick and just stop for a second and just thank God and let's just play.
Yeah.
You feel like that's like being tapped off the organ.
Yeah, bro.
What did I do? Was I in the wrong key?
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. It's so true. After that initial kind of disorientation, I was so happy that he trusted me to transition that church.
Mm.
And a lot of people ask me afterwards, how does it feel to not be a pastor anymore? Do you miss preaching? Do you miss pastoring? Because when that grace came off of me, first of all, for him to keep the grace on me would have been cruel.
Mm.
To tell me to transition to church but still have a burden for the church would have been cruel.
Mm.
But when I got off, when I transitioned, the grace came off of me. And I literally reflected on my 7 years as a pastor, Jonathan, and I was like, how did I do that?
Mm. Yeah.
That's how I did that.
Holding you up.
Right?
So now
that
check this
wasn't
out.
me. That wasn't me.
Imagine if you lost the grace for it, but because you were such in a roll lock, that you stayed pastor.
Torture.
How would that have gone?
I'd have been Saul.
You would have been angry.
Yes, sir. That's absolutely
sad.
correct. That's right.
You would have been lonely and had no reason for it.
That's absolutely correct.
And that's how we do life a lot, bro. Like, it's just a lot of, I don't even know if I like doing this anymore.
Facts.
But I'm so married to it.
Yeah.
And it's so much of who I am, man.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm praying that all those multi-hyphenates out there, maybe you won't change the multi-hyphenates. Maybe you still want to say singer, songwriter, actor, blah, blah, blah.
But maybe it's one at a time, though.
And maybe just put child of God first. Ty Tribbett, and I quote him in the book, man, he said, when you're son of God, you can do anything he asks you to do.
That's
at
right.
any given moment.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah, like today, I need to take out the trash.
Right.
Tomorrow, I'm driving a car.
That's right.
The next day, I might be taking over the church.
That's right.
And then the next day, I might be just shoveling the snow again.
That's absolutely correct.
But if you're so locked in on only shoveling the snow, you missed out on all of those other assignments, all
Absolutely
those other
correct.
blessings, all those other ways to impact the world.
Yep.
And I just don't want to miss out on that stuff. I don't
Me
want to miss
either.
out on the benefits
Yeah.
of being his son. And I'm just really grateful, even how God has installed some father figures in my life recently.
Good.
Where I'm like, you know what? I think I can be a son for really the first time in my life. You had an incredible relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
For me, though, when my dad died, my hope for a dad died. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't mourn him as much as I mourned, I guess I'm just never going to have one.
Yeah.
Not a comprehensive one. He's
Yeah.
a good man, and
Yeah.
he handled his business, and he showed up when asked for.
Yeah.
But a comprehensive one
Yeah, for sure.
that pursued me.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know that if I were ever going to have that.
Yeah.
And that's what died that December. And so for me, it's always been, I don't even know how to be a son.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do I get?
Mm-hmm.
What do I get by being a son? Like, what do I get to just go in the fridge?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I've only had uncles, man. I've only had godparents. You know what I'm saying? Man, God is really reprogramming me.
Yeah, that's
Yo,
really
this
good.
is your access.
Wow.
This is your benefits package. This is what you get.
All right. Hold on.
My bad.
No, no.
I told you
no.
got to press period and return on me.
No. I just felt like the Lord dropped something. So I'm gonna just submit it to you, cause it may be significant to you, it may not. So I'm just submitting what I saw.
I'm lifting my hands.
Ain't gotta do all that. When you said you're learning how to receive that, right? You're
Mhm.
learning how to receive what it's like to be a son. And my disclaimer is I don't want this to come off weird, because I don't think it's about me as much as it is about the moment and what God may be trying to get you acclimated to. But my sons don't come through my front door. And when you arrived here, you came through the door they come through. You walked in like a member of the family, not like a guest who's been here the first time.
Wow.
And it was a brother that opened the door for you and let you into your father's house. And it's the side door that all the family comes through.
Wow.
All the guests go to the front door. The family is like, I ain't going all the way around there. Cut through, Whereas mother-in-law's suite is over there, and then the kitchen is right there. And you came through that door. And so perhaps even that was like a sweet moment that the Lord was giving you to know that I'm bringing you to relationships with people that are going to be brothers to you and fathers to you. And you can come straight in through the side door like the rest of the family and go straight to the kitchen and get what you want to sit down and drink and get up and go. And it's a beautiful feeling to be accepted like that and welcomed like that. So
y'all didn't trip? Nobody pulled a gun out?
Nope.
I mean, I saw a slight startle.
It was just so.
But just very momentary.
It was just so it was so casual. It was just so casual. Like, hey, y'all good? I'm here. It was dope, bro. It was dope.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
And he's really, because again, when you live life so poised, I'm sure part of the poise, part of the way that I've learned to hold myself, like, you understand, like, even my placement in gospel, I play a guitar and I scat.
Right.
I've always felt like more of a novelty item.
Right.
Like when they, you know how the colleges, when they have a brochure, they make sure they find one Hispanic guy, one black guy.
Exactly.
And they put them in the
and
picture.
one Filipino.
One Filipino. They just want to make sure.
Exactly. We've met our diversity
We got
quota.
it.
Yeah,
we got it here.
They're all here.
Yeah, it might be hard to find, but we got it.
They won't be a part of the faculty or the alumni.
Yes.
But they're on this brochure for sure. Yeah.
That's how I always felt. Not always, but for a long time, that's how I felt even in the industry.
Yeah.
In gospel. This is what real gospel is, but we are diverse.
Yeah.
I felt like even most of the intros when they had me coming up, it was always like, gospel is such a diverse.
And we have one man that
embodies all of it.
He is the diversity.
He is the diversity. And that's how I was always set up.
Yeah.
And I think because of all that, I always felt a little bit like a guest.
Yeah.
A little bit like never status quo.
Yeah.
Like always, which means I have to present myself differently. Like I can't just go into the song like everybody knows it. I can't just go into the song because I know that they'll be able to follow along and kind of sing.
Yeah.
Most worship songs, if you ain't never heard of it, you'll probably figure it out halfway through.
Right, for sure.
You kind of can get the ups and the downs of it. But for my stuff, you gotta really think about it or listen to it or know it already.
Yeah.
So I got really good at presenting it and wrapping it into kind of the culture of that particular venue. I got really good at it. If I was in a white evangelical church, I knew how to rap it. If I went to the blackest Baptist shoutingest church, I knew how to rap it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? If I went to a club, an R&B, and I'm doing something with BET or something, I just knew I had to learn how to rap it.
Yep.
And so much of my even career was about learning how to navigate. And people thought of it, and it is a skill.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But also it's one that never allowed me to relax. I always went in there and my brain was thinking. Travis Green once said to me, he said, "Jonathan, you are either the best improviser or the most prepared person ever." Because the way I would think of how I'm going to break this ice.
Yeah.
Most people didn't have to. All they had to do is say, everybody lift up those hands. Give them the fruit of your lips.
Yeah.
And then they start their song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That phrase has always bothered
fruit
me.
of it. I don't really know what it means. I know what it means, but I wish you just say open. I don't know.
This is
the fruit. Give him the fruit of those. Yes.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, like, so I say all that to say, this is a season where I'm having to become comfortable with the family door,
It's good.
comfortable with the family rooms, the family spaces, the places where it's almost insulting to have your coat on
Mm-hmm.
and to have your shoes on.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, man, you know the story of the prodigal son?
Yes.
I have to say that I've always been the other son.
The one that never left the house.
Yeah, the one that was like he was playing within the rules.
Yes.
And he thought that was gonna that's what made him son.
Yes.
Is the fact that I've done what I'm supposed to do, and
Yeah.
I didn't take the inheritance too
Yes.
early.
Yeah.
And you giving this crazy dude
Yep.
the party.
Yeah.
When all this time, what he only saw as rules was really access that he never knew how to take advantage of. He never felt comfortable doing it. And I feel like he saw the relationship with his father as more of a performance-based thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it boggled his mind that somebody with low performance was getting a ring and a party. And I'm learning how to, yeah, man, I appreciate that so much.
Yeah.
And if implicit in your metaphor, you are now my father, then okay, let's do it. Fine. That's all right. You were like 15 when you had me. That's cool with me.
I mean, actually,
It's possible.
it is possible. I
All
mean,
right,
my
Pops.
parents would have been looking at me crazy, but yeah. That's,
Papa Tim, everybody. That's my,
nah, man, I'm grateful. I just encourage you to lean into those moments and don't feel like you got to go back out that door and go around to the front.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like God let me up in this family, and I'm okay. I'm gonna test it out. I'm about to go in here and give me some orange juice, see if anybody says something. You know what I mean?
Y'all got Ritz crackers?
You know what? I know there's some crackers in here. I don't know if they Ritz, but we got some crackers in here. Juliet is a cracker eating girl. She likes some crackers. So,
Yeah, man. I appreciate that, bro.
man, thank you. Like, you have blessed me today. Okay, here's what I want to get you to just drop, if anything, no pressure. I usually always ask this question before I wrap up an interview, but this is the first time I've been able to ask this question this way. So here's how I'm going to ask this question this way, because it's my first time being able to do it in the history of the basement. So here's how I'm going to ask the question. What does a Mensa muse?
I'm sorry. What does a Mensa muse?
Yes, like what are you musing right now? But as a Mensa, like this is it's my first time having a Mensa.
Like, just
Right.
what am I
What do
just thinking about?
Yeah, what are you musing? What is the thing that you can't stop thinking about right now? What's the thing that you can't stop? And it could be something that you're dreaming about. It could be something that you're frustrated with. What are you musing right now? What is Jonathan McReynolds musing?
Among other things, I'm very concerned about society.
Mm-hmm.
I'm concerned about our ability to see what's real and what's not.
Mm.
I'm concerned that we are so drowned in lies and filters and AI that if Jesus came back right now, I don't know that I would believe it.
Mm.
I'd be like, who did that?
Mm.
And what app?
Mm.
And so I'm just concerned. I'm concerned that we're watching a very multifaceted assault on truth, reality, and perspective. And to be quite honest, I don't know what to do with that at all. I don't know what part I'm supposed to play in that. But it has felt like a bizarre world for about 10 years.
I can identify with your sentiment so much that if I called Nathan in here right now and said, what have I been talking to you about the last 2 weeks, not 10, he would say, oh, the fact that in the next 10 years, we won't know what's real and what's not, and unless you're actually in front of the person.
Mm-hmm.
Like your screen ain't telling you nothing.
Yeah.
The news clip ain't telling you nothing.
Can't believe it.
The footage ain't telling you nothing.
Definitely copied and pasted that picture.
If this is how good visual AI is
right now
in its inception, in a decade, unless the person is in front of you breathing, you will not know.
That's scary. That's really scary. It's like, you know what it feels like? It feels like a Tower of Babel moment, where it's like they're getting so advanced that there has to be like a mandate from heaven that says, all right, we're about to break this up a little bit.
If we don't go down there.
If we don't give them some different languages, they're going to screw themselves. I don't believe that God was up in heaven being like, oh, snap, this tower is about to be tall enough to reach me.
No.
That tower was probably like 4 stories.
Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
They thought they were killing it.
Yeah, based on their technology. Right.
That thing was this bank's taller than that thing.
Right.
But like that was tall as the Walmart.
Right.
They thought they were killing it.
Right.
But
funny.
something in their idea of their perspective of things had to be one that was getting so far away, so reprobate, like like I don't know how we bring them back.
Yeah, for sure.
That's kind of how it's feeling.
Yeah.
That God almost, if we're gonna be here much longer, we almost need a demotion of mind. I think we're thinking like, man, God give us more clarity, more blah, blah. And I'm like, no, actually, he might have to cut this thing in half. We only use about 2% of the brain anyway. Maybe let's go to like 1. Because
wow, bro,
we getting a little too beside ourselves in the way we see. I don't know. That's just me, man. I don't know what's happening, but something feels like it's getting to a asymptote. Like we're getting there.
What's that word?
Asymptote.
Symptote. I've never heard it.
Yeah, it's like in a curve. It's kind of the line that the curve never reaches, or it gets infinitely closer and closer before it comes back down.
Got you.
It's like the upper limit.
Okay. All right. So I made 2 significant pivots at the beginning of the year. Well, one was at the very end. December 31st was my last day on social media. So Juliana is me on social media. My content is there, but I am not.
She's been going crazy the whole time.
Yeah.
And she's been laughing at some of the people that she's sending messages to. I'm just letting you know.
It's all good. So
she's been like,
so
no.
Yeah. So she represents me on social media. My content is there. I'm not. I don't have none of it on my phone.
I always say when I get married, I'm off social media.
It's a wrap. I don't need it. I've already had a love-hate relationship with it, and then once Juliana came into my life, I was like, she's me. Bye. I'm out. I read a caption and I'm like, oh, I'm dope. I didn't remember writing that. And then it's like, I didn't write that.
Social media is like a lot of landmines. You can be on there for 8 hours and it's good. You can be on there for 8 seconds and your whole soul gets
depressed.
Yeah.
You've involuntarily scrolled into a murder.
Pretty much.
Like, and you're like,
yours or somebody else's.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on the 3rd of January, I changed my phone number and went from like over 800 contacts to right now, somewhere between 45 and 55 people have my number from 800 down to, and my friends were asking me, man, how does it feel to be off social media? I said, one of the things that one of the things I didn't even know I missed is genuine surprise. And the awe and wonder of learning something I didn't know, as opposed to this unsolicited deluge of news and information and life stories of my like I grew up with aunts and uncles and grandparents that said, boy, you getting so tall, you getting so big. And I had no idea. I hadn't commented that about my friends because I saw they kids for 2 seconds. And so when I saw them, I'm like, yeah, I watched you grow up in the feed. And so I see them and there's no like, when did you get a mustache? Boy, you getting so big.
Right.
And that wonder and that genuine kind of, I didn't know until I talked to you. It wasn't, I saw it on the feed and I just double tapped it and just went on and I never even made a comment. You know, all of that's coming. Now the people I talk to it's like, how's your wife and how's your kids? And if they got an iPhone, which if they don't, I judge them harshly. But if you got an iPhone, then you can see if they got the right picture in there. You see their family, and if not, it's like, send me a picture of the kids. Yeah. And I'm no longer a voyeur of my friends' lives. I gotta genuinely connect with them. I gotta FaceTime them. I gotta put a date on the calendar because I'm gonna fly to New York, and we're gonna go to your Italian restaurant. But I'm a raw vegan, and I'm gonna eat the salad, and you're gonna eat the salami, and I'm gonna spend the day with you, and I'm gonna get in a plane, and I'm flying home. And it's
good for your brain, isn't it?
It is.
We're not supposed to. I don't think we're supposed to be as aware of everything as we currently are.
We're not.
This is a lot of stuff to. I think when you look at younger generations, like you can tell they are shell shocked and really overly affected by just too much information.
It's too much.
And it's like, we're not saying, you never want to say, man, I don't really want to know what's going on all the way over there. Yeah. Because it's atrocities, and you feel like you're supposed to be, you're supposed to have some part of your brain and heart that pours out to that stuff. Yeah. But also, I only have so much brain and heart.
Well, I'll give you a story that I'll never forget as long as I live. It was years ago that this happened, but there was a photographer that went over to, I don't even remember what country in Africa, but it was a very, very, very war-torn, genocide-riddled part of Africa.
Congo, Rwanda.
It could have been one of those. These people were in such dire need that he got a picture of a baby that was just sitting up dying, and birds were circling it. And he caught these photos of this child, within 30 minutes of him just falling over and the birds coming down. He captured a photo. To this day, I can close my eyes and it's just an image that it's an improbable image. But this person is so hungry. His face is up to here, up the backside of a cow, trying to eat the feces. Oh. And these were the photos he got, and it still has a physical effect on my body. Like me repeating it to you makes my heart darkened. But he was there, and when he came home, within 90 days, he took his life because he could not reset.
Yeah.
And to your point, we are not supposed to be cut off to the plight of people in other countries. And it should not be that readily accessible in a feed.
And I think not even just people in other countries, but just other people.
Period.
People.
Yeah. Just
Like
other people, period.
We were talking
You're
about
right.
the dehumanization of things. Well, I think the problem is a lot of times we get little glimpses of Tim Ross. We get little pieces, and then we feel like we know him.
Right.
And we don't
Exactly.
know the story behind that picture.
That's right.
We don't know what's actually going on in life. And that helps us kind of dehumanize somebody.
Yeah, it does.
That helps us relegate them to just this part of their human experience.
Yeah.
And this is all you got.
Yeah, that's
This is
exactly
all we're going
right.
to allow you.
Yeah.
And
90 seconds.
And the thing is, in
Yeah.
order for us to have all these people in our minds, all the celebrities, even the celebrities we don't even listen to and like, we
Yep.
still got opinions about everybody.
Yeah.
We can't have a very robust, three-dimensional, image of them,
Right.
because we are now trying to keep our brains aware of 1,000 of them.
Exactly.
So now they have to be simpler. I can't deal with too much nuance out of you. I can't deal with too much humanity out of you. I'm having to abbreviate who you are in my brain because I need space for about 500,000 more people.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
It's wildly unsustainable.
Yeah, but we do it.
We do it.
That's part of the reason I think we treat each other so poorly.
I agree. Well, I'm not sure I've ever had a guest to bat 1,000 on all of my musings and convictions and revelations and all that kind of stuff. But
Cap.
Jonathan McReynolds, ladies and gentlemen, I think went 22 for 22 field goals and hit all his free throws. So the MVP of this basement episode goes to Jonathan McReynolds.
Papa Tim!
Yo, thank you, man.
Thank you.
It
bro.
means the world that you would come. Thank you for writing this book. Thank you for sharing the concepts behind it. And as you know, our community of dwellers, leaders are readers. And so we're going to have the link to where you can get this book in any way that you want it and all the ways that it's been formatted. And I need you to read it, though. I need you to read it. I need you to be open to the fact that you might have planted a flag on a mountain that God wants you to unflag and wants you to have this delightful descent into a valley so that you could just be his child. I'm glad you're the boss, and I'm glad you're El Jefe, and I'm glad you're the CEO and that you've made it and all that kind of stuff. But there's just a level of freedom that children have that adults will never have. When I tell you children are delightfully unburdened, they do not care what the grocery bill is. They just eat what's in the pantry. They don't even know how the pantry gets restocked. They just know they go back and magically something else is there. My God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory.
New cereal every morning. Oatmeal is new.
Your French toast, your cinnamon toast crunch is new every morning.
Oh.
Them watermelon spears are new every morning.
Your Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks brought me through. I'm not hungry this moment because of you. You don't know nothing about that, Tim.
Almond milk substitute.
And oat milk too. Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks brought me through.
This is
Hallelujah.
Hiya na na na. Oh glory.
Mm-hmm.
Almond milk, Lord. Almond milk, Lord. Thank you for oat milk.
Mm-hmm. And all of the substitutes for the lactose intolerant who want milk too.
And don't
Ooh.
poop.
No matter who or what you drink, there's a milk. Hallelujah.
The fact that you could catch it and knew who I was and knew that I was Jay Mossing it at that
Hey,
point,
man,
that's Kojic for life
Great
for
of
sure.
all time. One of the greatest. Yes, sir.
Jonathan, thank you so much.
Love you, brother.
I love you too. This is about to bless a lot of people. I appreciate you.
People told me we'd hit it off.
Really?
Yeah.
Bruh, I am like, this is my brother from another mother. I'm like, that introvert energy is let me tell you something. I know all the extroverts is,
We be thinking.
we be thinking. We really do. I love you guys. Buy the book. We'll have all the links in the description and where to get it all. If you buy his first book, please give me the name of the first book again.
Make room.
Make Room. It went with the album. Make Room. And support his music as well. If you have not been exposed to Jonathan McReynolds' music, find it on Spotify, find it on iTunes, wherever. But then buy the album. I buy albums. It's like $6.99, $7.99, $11.99. What are we doing? Like, I want it in my phone. I don't just want to stream it a bunch of times. I buy the whole album and just play it straight through. So I love you guys, and until next time, peace.
Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be. Yeah, so press B with me, and let's let whatever gon' be just be.